of it.
Karl, who are these podcasts? Thank you for joining us halfway through.
Hey, sorry to join mid-conversation, but thanks for having me, guys.
No, that was intended.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was intended.
Perfect timing.
So I saw you were going to be our guest, and I wasn't that familiar with you guys, so I did some poking, some looking around, saw you're adjacent to the Dick Masterson universe. Huge friend of our show. Love Dick.
I've seen him on your show many times. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and I saw something that intrigued me immediately are you guys enemies of Opie from Opie and Anthony?
Yeah, we've one of the first guys who really stuck on my show, Who Are These Podcasts, was Opie, because he left Sirius. Well, he was fired from Sirius, and he went to Westwood One and started a podcast, and it was brutally bad. So we reviewed his podcast when he first started doing it, and he debuted at number 2 in all of podcasting. It's like, whoa, Opie's back. It's gone for 8 months. It's amazing. So we reviewed his podcast, and it was so bad we kind of jocktobered it, and a lot of people picked up on it. And like a month and a half later, I was on Anthony Cumia's show, and people were calling into Jim and Sam talking about it. So we've been on the Opie beat for many years now.
That's awesome. I'm a huge fan of O&A. But as most fans of O&A, really big on the Anthony and Jimmy and their classic bits and all the guests. Never very big on the Opie part of it. His whole collapse after the end of that show was like sad to watch, because I never had like any animosity towards Opie as a listener. It was just something where it was like, man, couldn't you tell that Jimmy was angling for this with Ant, and then like you took a caller at a time that really didn't vibe with what they were trying to create? So it was never an anger I had or even like a strong dislike. It was just frustration as a listener.
Same here. And I remember there were times when I was a huge Opie and Anthony fan, and I remember when Opie wasn't there and it was just Anthony and Jim, I was like, oh, this is going to be a great day. You know, I would have those thoughts, but I wasn't like actively disliking Opie for any reason.
Sure.
And this demise you're talking about is still going on today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he started up a brand new YouTube channel called Opie Unleashed NYC. He walks around Manhattan with his phone out and just says awkward things to random people and puts that out as videos. It's brutally bad. I just had Anthony on my show this past week. We were going through some of the videos. It's hilarious. It's so cringe.
Oh, this isn't great. 22 hours ago, streamed 248 viewers.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been a guy that should have faded away with the dignity of, like, you can't, like, people rip on Opie all the time in the context of O&A, but you can't take away that, like, he was one of the main hosts on to me, the funniest radio show to ever exist. Everything pales in comparison. It was hysterical. And he was part of that. And he made fuck you money. And then he just insisted himself upon the audience further. And it was like, even as it was happening, I remember listening and like I was falling asleep in like 2015 after like those tell-all episodes were being released with Anthony and Jim and Sam and Opie, and they were all kind of battling with their own uploads, and just thinking like, man, this is going to be sad, because Anthony and Jimmy are going to succeed to some measure or another, especially Jim, and he's not. And it's going to like take any doubt he had about not being, quote, worthy of his success and just re-solidify it in his mind.
No, he's a narcissist, so he doubles down. He literally just went on his show recently. When I say show, Kyle, are you familiar with Opie and Opie and Anthony at all?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what we're talking about. So Opie
100%.
does a thing. He streams every morning, and he's in his Manhattan apartment overlooking the city, beautiful view, you know, $20 million apartment, whatever it is. And so he's showing that off, and he gets up early before the sun's up, and he streams to dozens of people.
Yeah.
Know why. And he just said recently on his stream that, you know, I should have walked away from Opie and Anthony. I just didn't have the balls to do it, but I should have done it. And he was talking about walking away in the year 2000. So he's going back and reinventing history and saying, like, I would have been just as successful without Jim and Anthony. And remember, he was the one who wanted to break up the show before the show got broken up. He's like, I could do this with other people. And then what happened? He brought in Vic Henley and Sherrod Small, and nobody cared. He went to afternoons, and then
not only was he a drag on the comedy, and he could throw this wrench into it, but also he was responsible for some of the moments that gave the show a bad name and just made everybody look bad. Like, they did so much edgy stuff that you probably shouldn't actually go out and like torture a homeless man or What that was that him or was that Ant?
The cake
No, that
stopping
was Opie.
Yeah.
Good.
And that was one of those things that like Ant and Jimmy were uncomfortable with because like they couldn't come right out and say it during a broadcast, but they clearly wanted to be like Opie, like that was a genuine mean thing you did to a homeless guy. Have you noticed that all the people we're ripping on, like the retards that come into our studio, come here of their own volition? Like we're making fun of other comics promoting gigs right now or internet videos. Like you went out of your way to stomp on a homeless guy's cake. That's really.
By the way, that video resurfaces every couple of years. A subreddit picks up on it or something, or Twitter, and it just starts circulating again. Everyone's like, "Who's this asshole?"
Yeah,
so,
like that's the most repugnant thing I've ever seen. Why have I never heard of this piece of shit? They're actually that's Opie from ONA. Wow, did he get canceled? They got him. Oh, damn.
they got him.
They got him. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't listen to it nearly as much as Taylor did back in the day, but whenever I go back, I really like the Patrice stuff, and I love Jim Norton. Jim Norton's my favorite part of that whole formula. I really just am blown away by how quick he'll be. I'm like, was that written? Did he know that bit was coming? Because he'll have these fucking one-liners that are just, they seem pre-programmed. They're so quick. He's so witty.
He was the fastest guy on the radio, and I'll never forget, because I was a big Howard Stern guy like everyone else, but they started syndicating Opie and Anthony. I'm in Rochester, New York. They started syndicating in the afternoon, so I would listen to it on the radio. And the first time I heard a guy tell someone to slip in a puddle of AIDS and die, I went, what am I listening to right now? I've never heard anything like this before. Like, Jim Norton was vicious on that show.
Oh, and their fans were vicious too. Like they would get calls in or like people in their chat room. I remember one specifically where this guy was like making fun of dead people and whatever. And he was like, oh, remember, I sent you guys this content for your bits. Shout out my website. And at the end, like Opie just unwittingly says, he's like, and you can find username, his name's Puddle of AIDS, and you can find him at his website tedwilliamshead.com. and then like you just like Opie starts to move past. Ted Williams is a guy who died and wanted to be frozen cryogenically, and then his head fell off. And like just without missing a beat, Jimmy is like, his website is tedwilliamshead.com. What a despicable creep this guy is. Just playing.
I'm sorry. Let's not just refer to Ted Williams as a guy whose head fell off. Okay,
last guy to hit 400.
Hey, thank you. One of the greatest baseball players of all time. Okay, like come on.
His website
fell off. This would be like if Gretzky's like got frozen and his dick fell off. You know they did that to Napoleon.
They froze him.
They took his dick.
Fell off?
They stole his dick. They stole his dick away. It's big. It's big. It's big, and it exists today.
Dude, I've heard the historical penises are oft in dispute because they're like, this is Rasputin's penis, and it's like, are they not?
In cold water on Napoleon.
I gotta say, the only way my dick is big is when it's attached to my body.
Taylor.
Yeah. Can you imagine how bad your dick would look if they like wrung it out?
Forget about shrinkage. There's no blood in there. That's not good.
Right. I hope that in the future they put mine in water like on orbs, the little things. Swell up.
Embalming fluid or something. Yeah, like really blow it up.
Look at it. It's all segmented like a caterpillar.
Did you link it?
Zach said not big at all. Oh, come on, Zach. That's a hog.
What is that? That's not a penis.
That's not a dick. That's all
what
fucking.
That's talking about. That's not a dick.
What is the double layer thing? What is the thumb underneath it?
It's ribbed.
That's a little ball.
No, that's not how it. That's not how,
a little scrote. It was a little scrote left over.
Dude, that's not how any body part rots.
You wanted to trim that scrote, dude.
You trying to tell me that corn cob is a penis?
That's a 200-year-old cock. I think it looks pretty damn good.
Dude, that looks like that rock we sent to Denmark.
You show me a 100-year-old cock that looks half as good as that. I challenge you.
I'm like an eighth of the way there, and it looks way better. I don't need to flex on you guys.
Well,
your show, Who Are These Podcasts? Basically, you are listening to the giant world of retarded podcasts, and then are you doing like Mystery Science 3000 as you're listening, or are you like doing prepared bits after you listen with you and your co-host?
Yeah, so we actually took it from Jocktober. I'm not shy to admit that was my favorite segment on Opie and Anthony.
It was very funny.
And Sam Roberts used to go in there and say, hey guys, so this next time we're going to find out that the third mic's this wacky guy who's got these crazy jokes. And so I do the same kind of thing. I listen to a show, I pull clips, I kind of get some notes together, and then I sit down with my co-hosts and we go through, play the clips and comment on them as we go. So it's not so much like just listening through all the way, but I also have a pretty good understanding of the entire show. I do a lot of research. So it's not just taking things out of the context. That's very easy to do. Just be like, what an idiot. No one laughed at his joke or whatever it is. But really understanding like why the show sucks and what makes it suck.
Okay. And who are the worst podcasts you've ever reviewed? They're probably no name.
Well, the worst podcast is actually Stuttering John's. That I've gotten more listeners from people wanting to hear us talk about Stuttering John than anything else. But we can come back to that. Some of the podcasts that I really enjoy doing are the weirdos who find their little group on the internet and then all of a sudden get emboldened to talk about it. So we just did a show with Dave Landau this week about ABDL. You guys familiar with that?
No.
Adult baby diaper lovers.
Oh, yeah.
We've made fun of this. Yes.
Yeah. These people are fascinating. And in my experience, we've done some of their shows, different podcasts about that in the past. And it's usually like they want to be like babies or toddlers and put on their diapers and have people take care of them or whatever.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, right. They want to like play this little cosplay thing. But we found this guy, Mark, and he wears a diaper 24/7 for 10 and a half years. He wears it to work. He shits in it. He wakes up in the morning. He goes to work and shits in his diaper at work sometimes. Usually these diaper lovers just use it for number one because it's pretty gross.
Where does he work?
He's like diaper lovers. All right.
Those are diaper likers.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Does he like work at Panera? Like
he wouldn't say, but there was a clue. He said, when I go in for my shift. So I'm guessing it's not like a salaried position.
Yeah. All right. So we narrowed down to about 65% of the job market.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So his whole podcast is like, hey guys, been pooping a lot. How are you?
He gives you advice on how to do it. He's like, I always want to have a month's worth of stock in case, they run out of stuff and they can't ship it. So I got to make sure I have my diapers, because what would I do if there's 4 days before my shipment gets here and I'm down to 5 diapers?
Oh my God, wear underwear.
Yeah, I'd have to use my toilet. Could you imagine? That'd be crazy.
Can you imagine how much COVID threw that guy off? Just trying to get diapers to shit in. What does he do with them when he's done? Does he hold on to them or does he toss them? Is he like part of the scat fetish?
He talks about that. So before he got into wearing it every single day, he was experimenting. And he's experimenting with cloth. And he's experimenting with disposables. Now, thankfully, cloth wasn't for him. I'd hate to be the laundromat down the street with this guy coming in with his
cleaner.
Dry cleaner. Good thing the dry cleaner.
I'll figure it out.
Oh, what a ghoul.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, he does dispose of his diapers, but he was talking about having to do that at work from time to time. Could you imagine walking into the bathroom and you're like, Mark, are you laying on the diaper table right now? Do you need a hand with that or something?
Can you imagine he's like giving a presentation? He's like, and you'll look at cute choose monthly reports. So, you can see that.
Usually those.
Oh, that's just Mark. Sometimes he squats in the corner of the conference room.
Usually those guys have like a partner though, who fills in the role of a parent who's going to change them, and they're gonna do this sort of like I'm a baby, boo boo goo goo gaga, and there's gonna be some other like child play shit. Was this guy changing his own diapers, or did he have a partner?
He is a lonely man with no friends, so he's changing.
How much
his own
more pathetic
diapers.
is that if you think about it?
Yeah, and that's what's so weird about the internet itself is that these people used to be ashamed of this behavior and not tell anyone, and now they're finding each other and they're forming Discord servers and they're coming together for conventions and shit.
I thought of it because you mentioned Stuttering John, and I don't know anything about his podcast, but I know him from back in the day when Howard would send him out into like the silliest of conventions. I remember he went to the adult baby diaper place specifically, and that's how I know so much about it, is from one of Stuttering John's interviews. And he went to like the people who want to fuck My Little Ponies, the Cloppers.
Yeah.
Lamba, the North American Man Boy Love Association, NAMBLA. He went to the NAMBLA plays, and it was always funny because the questions were well written. It was well produced, but the guy just has a stutter. He's the worst correspondent imaginable.
That was the joke, though. They wanted him to stutter and stammer and embarrass himself. But Yeah, they got some gold. Some of those bits were great.
Okay. Yeah, and like back to the big thing you always get asked about, which is the urine therapy. Now I've been putting urine on my face every morning for years, and to now learn that there could even be health benefits.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Now, are you joking?
I'm joking. Yeah, I'm saying I've never put urine on my face. It's actually never occurred to me. But what's the data for that? What do you think is most useful, and why do you believe it works?
Oh, awesome. So, by the way, Woody, hi, and Kyle, hi. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, okay, so that is a great question. Let me say something just outlandish out of the gates that discarding urine and throwing it out is kind of like spitting in the face of God. Okay.
Oh. Every morning and sometimes in the middle of the night I do that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I just kind of wanted to be shocking there, but in reality you were born in urine. Okay, so amniotic fluid is urine. Babies urinate every 1 to 3 hours and drink up to about 1 liter of urine per day in the womb.
Huh. I guess I never thought about what amniotic fluid is. It's just urine in there?
Yes, yeah, because the baby starts urinating from like around 10 to 12 weeks, and the urine is what then gets referred to as amniotic fluid, but it's coming from through the kidneys. It's the filtration of the blood, which is what our kidneys do every day, and they produce plasma ultrafiltrate, which is the medical name for urine. The etymology of the word just means water, and you know how they say like the body's like 90% or 70% water, and it's salt water. Guess what urine is? Like, it's salt water. And it's actually the purification of the blood. Your kidneys are filtering about 180 liters of blood per day. Okay, so 99% of that, which is what we call urine, that's urine. So once it goes through the kidneys, that's called urine. And then guess what happens to 99% of it? It gets reabsorbed back into the body. And then 1% of it goes where? Guess where? The bladder. Did it go through any different filtration? No, it's the same thing that's getting reabsorbed by your body. And then Zach's got some stuff there. And then what it does is then the reason why the body expels it, you'd say, oh, it's because it's waste. But that's what you got taught, but it's not what your ancestors taught. Look at all the major cultures of the world, whether it's Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Jewish, Chinese, Japanese, Puerto Rican, Taino, Native American, Aboriginal, Australian. What did they think urine was? A medicine. Why? Obviously we know better, right? Because we're so smart now, and we can't even watch an ultrasound and watch a baby urinate and drink it right away and realize, I've been lied to. Okay, so guess where the stem cells are coming from, guys? Anyone?
Pee. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's amniotic fluid, right? That's what you're paying for, unless you're getting some super unethical fetal stem cells, and so it's the culture around the umbilical cord, which is all these cultured urine. So, and the reason why the body expels it is because it has to balance blood pressure, and it can't utilize those minerals in that moment. And so it's actually meant for feedback. That's why the babies are doing it. And the evidence that there's no toxins in urine is very strong, because the babies are proven to have chemicals in the umbilical cord. When the environmental working group tested for 400, they found 287 of those 180 are proven to cause cancer, birth defects, and brain deformations. So now they're going straight into the baby. Baby urinates through its weight, urinates its waste out, right? Well, how would that be possible when it's got 180 proven cancer-causing chemicals, brain-deforming chemicals, and then it's drinking it constantly and urinating every 1 to 3 hours? It's the exact opposite. That's how the body signals the removal of those poisons. That's why you have antibodies in your urine. That's why it actually does work for envenomations like jellyfish stings. But I saw this last year, and if I didn't know this, I think the 14-year-old girl would have died. I was in Kenya, northern Kenya, in these regions. By the way, anti-venom therapies cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, typically, even in this country. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so this girl she was just like kind of laying there, and they said that it was like likely lethal. And I told her to drink her urine and soak her foot in it. I used a nicotine patch as well, and then a chlorine dioxide. delete that if you can't. I can't say that word anyway. But she came right out of it. What
did the nicotine have to do with it? I don't understand.
It binds to the alpha-7 nicotine receptors, and so you've got these receptors in your body, and they're the primary targets for venom in the body, and they're in the brain, heart, and kidneys. And when a venom goes into the body, their target is the alpha-7 nicotine receptor in the body. And once it binds to that receptor, that's when it shuts down the circulation or the electrolyte minerals that your body runs off. And so it'll make you immediately deficient in sodium through the nicotine receptor, and then you have a heart attack or whatever other symptom that will then lead to paralysis. Because if you can, just block off the body signaling, then you create respiratory arrest and all kinds of things. So if you compete for the same receptor with nicotine, it'll be preferential. So it'll switch. So the nicotine will dock in that receptor, and then in this case, the venom will detach. And so it is a heavily studied science, and that's why the natives would use tobacco as an anti-venom.
So on the urine thing, what are you saying people should do with urine? Do they drink it? Do they apply it like a lotion? What do you do with urine?
Yeah. So you could use it on your face and for cosmetics. So if you have warts, I've seen that it works like consistently. So to just put it on your wart, and it should take it away. My wife, it took less than 24 hours, and she was using all the kinds of stuff that you would normally use for that. It could be dandruff, especially aged urine. I'll get back to that. But that's the only thing that will get rid of my dandruff. And I've tried everything that, as anyone does that has dandruff. Okay. So it's the only thing that's got rid of my dandruff. Could be any kinds of skin rashes, applying it directly. Could be eczema and acne, very profound for acne direct on the skin, even lifelong acne. And if you look at the videos I put out in social media, some of them will have up to 10 million plus views. And then just read the comment section. After you get through all the R. Kelly jokes, you'll finally find people that actually say, yes, this actually worked for me. And they'll talk about lifelong cases of acne getting reversed. And they'll talk about, watching people go into anaphylaxis after getting an allergic reaction and no EpiPens, ambulance hadn't arrived, drink their urine, comes right out of it. I've heard so many stories firsthand of that. The mechanism is super clear. So there's things like that. But okay, so then the other one is drinking. You literally would just drink your urine. I've actually drank my urine every day for the past 3 years, almost every day.
I didn't think that was good for you.
You thought it wasn't, right?
Right. Yeah. I was under the impression that it was far too salty, and that it was a negative. You'd have to drink more water so that your body could process the heavily salted urine. And the baby's urine is very diluted. It's not the same. This is neonatal urine.
It is diluted. You're right. It's very clear, right? The baby's urine. And well, firstly, so when the Wake Forest University, they'd look for stem cells in urine, they found 140, and in every one of the 10 samples, they took an NIH grant. It's 10 adult males, 20 to 40, 50 and up groups. And every time, approximately 140 stem cells. And when left to culture for 3 weeks, proliferated to 100 million at a rate of 1 times 10 to the power of 8. So, and they were telomerase positive, 75% which means they were active in the 20 to 40, and then 50-year-old group was 59.2%. So what that means is that they are active stem cells. So my counter, Woody, would be, okay, well, what are you going to do with those stem cells? Just keep flushing them down the drain, right? So
but the presence of stem cells in urine doesn't mean that it's good to drink it, right? Like I can only imagine how many stem cells are in a hamburger, and I don't call it stem cell therapy.
No, I don't think there are. There are in breast milk, and like of whether it's an animal or a human. But no, I don't believe you'll find stem cells in any other thing. But you're right. The presence of stem cells doesn't mean that therefore you should drink it. I'm entering that as an opening wedge of that there could be something here because there's something valuable, and then at very least in a chronic scenario where you either need antibodies or enzymes or urea, there's different compounds that have medical benefits, and they're used in folk medicine and bush medicine or these types of things. So that's to contend. But my early illustration was showing that of the most harmful chemicals, they're actually not harmful in the cases of these babies where they've got cancer-causing chemicals going straight to their bodies through the umbilical cord, and yet they're drinking their urine at these intervals, and it's the reason why the inside of the C-section heals so that there's no scar and the outside doesn't, because the urine on the inside, again, is so stem cell rich. There's a reason for it. Babies also, if they have surgeries performed in the womb, typically come out without showing that they ever had it, because they're in a stem cell rich environment, as you know, in that urine. I'm saying that the evidence I'm seeing is very clear that it is very, very helpful. And I did with Dr. Ed Group, we conducted a 12-month study or somewhere around there, and where we tested people's markers before and after on urine therapy, and universally it was a major improvement, and especially in the like toxins level, were like what the heavy metals and other like pathogens and toxins had a dramatic reduction. And in another study, we found that the liver function was dramatically improved in all the individuals in the study and that was specifically with the aged urine, but through suppositories.
How much drinking of pee is going on in these studies? Is it like an 8-ounce cup a day? Are you drinking most of the pee?
It's mostly just the first morning urine, which would and be a smaller amount, or like 5 ounces, 3 ounces, 8 ounces. I've seen variances, and
they mix it in. They make like a lemonade out of it, or they just.
Yeah, I think you gotta just slow
stevia.
You gotta just get it done. Damn, that's a lot of pee to be drinking every day, like an 8-ounce thing. And does it matter? You said morning pee.
Yeah,
is like. Does what you've been drinking matter at all? Like if you've been on like coffee and energy drinks all day, is that a worse pee than like a water all day?
Probably, but I would argue the counter, and I would say therefore it's more important that you do it, because it's a clear sign of addiction. And it was actually Dr. William Hitt that treated 20,000 people for addiction, and he ended up operating a lot out of Mexico. He was Dr. Rashid Buttar's mentor. And Dr. Buttar was a mentor to me. He was RFK Jr.'s doctor. He passed in the last couple of years, but he was a dear friend of mine. And he was the one that first opened that up to me with some of the work they were doing with cancer, and how they use the antigen-specific cancer, well, they're anti-tumor cells in urine. They're called anti-neoplastons, but they would use this in the cancer therapy centers, and hence why they actually got me to come out and do education for example, for the Hope for Cancer Center with their medical facilities there. And they're the world-class facilities. If you look them up, you'd probably choose that might be a place that you would go to. But they had me do the education there on some of the most cutting-edge research on urine. But anyway, those were some of the guys that were involved in that. But they used urine to help with addiction. And so I would say that these folks actually arguably need it more. And in the study that I just mentioned, Wake Forest, it didn't assess diets. It was just, it was still this substance that is powerful by nature, arguably.
And those were sick people in the Wake Forest study?
It said healthy. It said healthy, which people that eat McDonald's every day and drink Red Bulls every day would actually still class as healthy unless they have a chronic disease, and in which case it's very, open-ended.
Healthy people with addictions drank their urine to help with their addictions. That's the breakdown of this. I'm just trying to follow. I got a little lost in there.
Oh no, sorry. What I'm saying is that, okay, so the question was, do the people that have have addictive behaviors, that they're eating unhealthy foods? Oh, sorry, Ashi. Okay, Daddy's on a show. I need to focus. Okay, I love you. Sorry, my 6-year-old. So if people have a poor diet, I'm saying that we don't have any evidence to show. Ashley, Arthur, Daddy's busy. Okay, sorry guys. My 4-year-old then saying, why aren't you watching this Journey to the Center of the Earth show with his daddy? It's so cool.
It's exciting. Yeah.
And so anyway, my point being that if you have addictions and you're eating bad foods, if you understand the chemistry of urine, it has been proven to work for addictions.
Well, there he is, the MMA guru. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, guys? How's it going, PKA?
This going good?
Solid, dude.
This is YouTube culture right here, dude. You got to go on the PKA pod once in a while.
You
I
have
love
to.
it.
You have to.
You have to.
Thanks
Dude,
for coming.
I'm out of the loop on an MMA thing. Can you explain the betting scandal thing that they're talking about on Reddit? Who did what? Are they guilty? What is the what are the odds that it's legit? Talk to me.
Oh.
It's whenever there's these small cards that nobody really cares about and there's not a major amount of attention on them, this is what I think is the most likely thing. Basically, people are hearing things backstage, I reckon, and hearing about an injury in training camp, and that news is getting to amounts of sharp bettors that are putting crazy amounts of money once they hear the news. So we had Bulgarian versus Del Val, a fight that no one really would care about or pay attention to unless they were really in the know about the sport. So it was something that could easily be forgotten.
16 million was bet on a prelim fight with two fighters I've never fucking heard of.
Yeah,
and he did not fight that joke.
Well, he fought the joke, but almost
poorly. He fought it like I'd fight it.
Yeah. almost performatively he fought the choke, right? But basically, the odds, he was like a minus 270 favorite, and the odds went within the space of half an hour to about minus 140, 150. And there was a bunch of new accounts that had made betting accounts for the first time, just betting on Bulgarian versus Del Val on the prelims of an Apex card. And there was loads of massive amounts of money coming in on the fight. So what I reckon happened is someone leaked something out of the training camp. Maybe he was injured. That's the best case scenario, that somebody overheard that he was injured and then told all their group chat on Telegram of these like sharp bettors. But what the scandal could be is that this is something that happens because it's happened before.
Did Dana call him ahead of the fight and ask him about the betting and such? I read it, but I read it on Reddit, so I don't take all that as fact necessarily.
Okay,
but here's what I read. I don't know if it's true. Dana saw the betting patterns, and I guess some bookies like shut down betting on this particular fight because it was going wild. And he calls the fighter, the one that's favored and ended up losing. And he's like, hey, man, what's going on? These bets are wild. Are you okay? Do you owe somebody money? Like, what is happening here? Are you injured? And the guy's like, I'm fine. I'm going to fucking kill this guy. And then he goes out and loses. Is that true? Did he?
That is, Dana did say that. So they called Dana, the people that monitor all of the betting patterns going into the fights, called Dana and said something's going on. And Dana's essentially his response was, what? I fucking called the guy. And he said, no, we're going to keep it going. As if the guy would say, yes, I'm up to something or anything like that. So the fight probably should have been called off, but Dana has this sort of like bullheaded mentality with these types of things. So that could end up getting him in trouble, man. You never know. There should be an obligation to listen to that type of thing.
The FBI is saying there's like 100 fights that have irregularities. And Dana described an office, maybe he was bloviating, but he said there was his office was full of FBI agents. Look, they send one or two. They send two. When there's a little thing, if there's a team, then we're investigating. We're looking for evidence. Like this is it's looking like it might be bigger than we think. And I saw on Ariel's show, he was saying like a lot of fighters have told me that they've been offered like dollar amounts of money, tens of thousands of dollars. And when you think about how the UFC pays, especially these no-name prelim guys, $50,000 is more than you were going to make maybe in your career of fighting for the UFC. That might be 4-5 fights wins for you. You know what I mean? After taxes, certainly.
10 and 10 is a new fighter deal, right?
On your bribe money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 14 and 14 is like the low-level fighter deal. So you get in, you make about 14 and 14. So if you go in and lose
14 to show, 14 more if you win.
Okay.
1,000. And if you lose twice, you'll make, you're right, you'll make less than 50K. If you lose twice badly and get cut, you'll make less than 50K in your career.
Yeah.
So
and again, like I said, obviously that money's being taxed, and you've got coaches in your pocket, you've got trainers in your pocket, and it's not like you got to. If you're really serious about this, you probably don't have a side hustle. This is everything. That $50,000 bribe money is probably cash in a bag. We ain't paying taxes on that. That's $50,000. I could easily be convinced to take a fall. And
isn't bribery
from that guy
a little bit part and parcel of the fighting world? Feels like it has been historically with boxing, and you got to take a fall in the fourth.
Even NBA recently has had the similar thing, right? NBA just got investigated for the same thing. They found a few situations. All it takes is for some guy at a bar to say, if you do knock him down, just go for the submission instead of a knockout, please.
Yes.
In some way, you're in a way guilty, even though you're not really, because you're betting on yourself to win. It's a little bit different. But on the alternative side of that, if you're a massive favorite and some guys just put a healthy sum of money on the underdog that isn't supposed to win, and then you go out there and get choked out in the first. Go on.
That's the consequence of betting in sports. And like we've all just sat back and been happy with it as it has exploded from Barstool to I don't know, any number of apps. I remember when in an NFL game or a college football game, when the score was closer, maybe some aberration happens. And now, oh, you missed the extra point. And the guy would go, oh, a lot of people are going to be unhappy about that one, Mark. Yeah. Like wink, wink, nod, nod. They wouldn't even mention gambling, betting, bookies, none of that. Those words were taboo. Now it's like we get a pregame show with betting odds and like fantasy football tips so that you can make some money while you watch the Raiders play. It can't be good. Like I don't necessarily think gambling's immoral.
I don't know. I've seen the ads, and it seems like it's like you own they say you wear the crown. You know? So
you become a draft.
So now you are the draft king.
You are the draft king.
And they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't helping people.
Well, shit, I stand corrected.
Once you're the king of the draft, the ball's in your court, pretty much.
100% true.
You really know what you're getting into. But that's the thing. There was another situation a couple of cards ago with this fight, Darek Minner versus Shalian Nerdien Becker. It's always these obscure names.
Mm-hmm.
It's never like an Alex Pereira or a Conor McGregor. But in hindsight, that McGregor Aldo fight was almost too perfect. With him,
the Chael Sonnen Fedor fight.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I mean, when he chucked himself off the back, don't bring Chael into this. I mean, come on. But even McGregor Aldo, when he was practicing it backstage, was that a rehearsal? In hindsight, like, okay, Aldo's going to do this, and then my job's to do
Mystic
this.
Mac at work. How dare you?
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? It ruins
the
all
most
of
honorable man in sports, and you're accusing him of cheating.
He would never do that. He would never cheat.
I think so far
Anyway.
we've mostly seen it be these little guys who are tied up in it because they are, like we said, so underpaid and the money's there.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Conor McGregor other than he seems to be a scumbag. And I used to like to watch him fight when he did. But I don't think you bribe him to do anything.
No,
I don't think you can. Like not
It'd
in
be very expensive.
Yeah,
it'd be very expensive. You'd see betting aberrations. They would need to bet so much that it would the betting would look weird. And then if you look at his losses, like what do they do? Pay him to break his fucking leg?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and what they do?
snap your
Pay him
leg
to
in round
win.
two.
You don't have to pay him to win against Aldo. Like,
Yeah.
I know. And it's too
but
obvious.
you pay Aldo to lose, though. You could pay Aldo to lose.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean,
But with that,
it's
but
not
I
like
don't
I'm
think
friends
you
with
couldn't
him,
pay
but
him to
that's not
lose,
who
though.
Aldo is.
Exactly. And not, on top of that, after that humiliation world tour that McGregor took him through, he farted on him. You ever see him fart on him? He farted on Aldo. He stole his belt. Aldo was the champ, long-running champ, Taylor, for like 5-6 years.
How did he fart? What was the opportunity presented?
Farted on him.
Drive-by.
On him.
Picture a bunch of folding poker tables where they set up a press conference to sort of hype the fight, and the champion almost always has his belt sitting in front of him. It gives him prestige and an aura. And McGregor took that fake belt, which is real belt, and claimed it as his now. He's like, what are you going to do? And I guess that's when Conor farted on him?
No, Conor farted on him backstage. It was a drive-by. Aldo was just kind of sitting there. And then McGregor walked past him.
Nail me to the cross. I can't walk past a group of people and crop dust them, hoping that one of them gets blamed.
I'm getting kicked out of middle school, that's for sure.
Is this even America?
Yeah, that's crazy. We've never seen someone like break Geneva Convention in the terms of their like warfare before a fight. It was wild. Yeah, but that's like well timed. That's well timed. You got to be holding that in the chamber. Like that just speaks to McGregor's manifestation.
That takes gumption.
Time and beat speed.
For me, that was him at the top of his game, like his mental warfare game, because the way he bullied a guy who clearly walks through life being respected everywhere he goes and treated him with utter disrespect. The way he mocked him, derided him, bullied him like a schoolyard bully, grabbing it, playing keep away with the thing that he cherishes most in life. And he did it multiple times. He was always stealing that belt from Aldo. Aldo was doing they were doing a radio interview and like, you go in the box and talk. And then then we'll switch. McGregor go in the box and talk. And like while he's in the box and talking, McGregor's like, got your fucking belt. Like he'd gotten it away from somebody, and he was just always fuck. So when that fight happened and he KO'd him in fucking 26 seconds or whatever it was, like that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. I'd never seen anything like that. And then they, of course, like glaze him to no end, showing him rehearsing that exact like move in the back, and him predicting he's going to overcommit and I'm going to sleep him with the left, whatever he said. And it's like, shit, he did it. Then they show it in slow motion, and Mystic Mac is real. That's how I became a Conor McGregor fan. And then, he sexually assaulted all those people. So then I kind of fell out of it.
Allegedly.
Oh, that's no, factually.
Oh,
he
really?
was found guilty.
He was found guilty in court. So there's that.
Alleged by the court. I don't know. I just feel so uninformed in this conversation. I don't know anything.
It'd be good. You can chime in on the other things. MMA's good at that, I feel like, because they have the fighters have these crazy situations go down about them that anyone can get involved. It's always something weird, like the John Jones stuff or the what's so-and-so getting up to. It's always nothing to do with the sport, really. So that's how it can sort of drag in people. Go on.
My first exposure to MMA was probably late 2008, 2009. I don't remember, but one of my buddies, this Marine guy, was like super into it and like loved it. And so we went to his house and watched one. And I remember being like, I don't know anything about fighting. And what made me interested was it was a Brock Lesnar fight. And I also don't follow professional wrestling, so I had no idea who this guy was. And they do the little march out of both fighters. And that almost immediately in the fight, Brock Lesnar got on top of this guy. And I remember the top down camera. And I was like, this man is so big. There's no evidence he's fighting anyone right now. There's no evidence. If this was a still shot, like a 9/11 still, you'd be like, there's no evidence anything's going on other than a guy bent over on it. And I was like, there are men this big beating each other half to death. This is pretty sick. And then I think it was either after that or maybe a little before, I saw Seth Petrozelli beat up Kimbo Slice, because I had seen Kimbo Slice's videos on YouTube, and as a fight retard who didn't know anything, I was like, oh, this dude Kimbo Slice must be the toughest of the tough. Like look how big he is, look how hard he hits. And then some dude who just knew what he was doing flattened him in 5 seconds after being called up, apparently. That guy thought he was going to be sitting there in the fucking in a box eating chicken wings, and then they're like, "No, actually, you're fighting in 2 minutes." And then he nailed him, knocked that guy the fuck out.
He was sort of like really pressured to keep that fight standing as well. You want to talk about
that's illegal
and scandal? Exactly. He was like heavily pressured. You do not take this guy to the ground. You keep this on the feet against
because Kimbo doesn't know how to fight on the ground, right?
No, because Kimbo was like, they wanted Kimbo. They wanted him to be a thing in the sport around that time to like, because he would carry a promotion
character.
All right,
a video game character. To the casual, it's like, oh, here's that character from Street Fighter. Here's this character from Street Fighter. They want those archetypes, and he was perfect. He's the street fighting black tough guy who takes no shit and knocks motherfuckers out and walks through people. And then it didn't happen. Then quite.
OG saw Kimbo's first loss. I bet MMAGuru and Sean Gannon.
I saw him get waxed by that fat white guy, and I was like, "This guy isn't that good."
I'm pretty sure that guy was a Boston cop, and that he did train. He wasn't just like a random guy off the street. But Kimbo's talking all this, and Sean's like, "I could beat you," and it was. I think they got exhausted, but Kimbo had to quit. Video. There was like no 17-minute straight fight. Like there was no ref to call it. There was no like, oh, he's had enough. Kimbo, and it was all standing mostly. And Kimbo eventually was just like, please stop hitting me. I don't want to fight
I think he kind of like worked his way back into that because the thing is that this police officer went into like Kimbo's area and was kind of giving him the work that any time he started to really get the better of him, all of a sudden everyone's jumping in and whoa, let's separate this, get it back to normal. So, but Kimbo was awesome back in the day. Like he was definitely one of those characters. Like, Mike Tyson Punch Out. It feels like he should be like an optional DLC to the game. Like on like an off chance you can face Kimbo.
He was a great personality. I love that Brendan Schwab story.
He was fun.
This guy's down here talking about our people. What do you mean our people? Blacks. We talk. I'm not black.
What are you?
But I think we're gonna let Brad kick it off for us with whatever conspiracy you brought. You prepared? You ready? You look ready. Himself. Oh,
President John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
no.
Never heard of him.
Yes.
LBJ did it?
And then here's like a works-cited thing.
Works-cited.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
he's
yeah,
got a bibliography.
Spartacus Educational got most of the information from that. But yeah.
That's very interesting. It really turned up the intensity when we got LBJ in the mix.
Yeah.
And I liked that.
Oh,
part.
yeah, of course.
It kept getting better. I like
Mr.
it. Well
Big
done.
Dick is back in town.
Very well done.
They called it a
Thank
Peter
you,
until
thank you.
Johnson became president.
Yeah, Johnson was like he was taking time out of his busy day of like sexually harassing staffers to do all these murders, which I think is kind of tight.
Oh, yeah.
So he was. I've always heard the tie-ins with him and JFK, where like obviously it wasn't just him, unilaterally making these calls, but he was connected. He was. I've definitely heard the thing
aware.
that he knew ahead of time, the same way like it's claimed about a lot of these things. 9/11, Pearl Harbor, like that we know ahead of time, and then sometimes
what were we gonna do?
Accidentally look the other way. Sometimes on the exact day you need those planes, they're doing some drill in northern Maine or some shit.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Damn, I didn't. Yeah. I was really mostly neutral on LBJ. I guess I was slightly positive because I thought like making people like listen to you while you shit rules. That's funny. But other than that, no, he seems like a bad dude now. I don't like.
Now he's straight up cool guy of the week.
Not if he helped get rid of Kennedy. Kennedy was cool guy of the week. I liked him more.
You say potato, I say potato.
30 years before I was born.
Oh,
25, whatever.
I would contend with Kennedy. I don't know. I don't know if he was a good guy.
No, really? You think he was maybe a little skeevy?
He made his brother the attorney general.
I think there was a reason.
That's true.
He spent his free time
He sent the IRS
fucking models and actresses.
Cool guy of the week.
Dude, he fucked Nancy Pelosi in her prime.
Is that a true rumor? Like
he definitely.
It's a true rumor. It's a brand new one.
Have you not seen the picture of like prime,
you see those torpedoes?
Just jugged up, 1960 style jugged up Nancy Pelosi prime, and he was hitting. 100% he was, and so I still like him even if he did that shit.
Smacking that ham. Yeah, like the thing is,
keep it kosher, Mr. President.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That was a good one. It's
so much more detailed than mine.
Oh my gosh, this is a tough act to follow. Who's jumping on this grenade?
Not me. No, because he had a works cited page. When we do these conspiracies, sometimes literally I'll like see one of the bullet points because I always just write down pages of it. And I'll admit, in the past, I did it on the Helen Keller conspiracy years ago. There would be something that I couldn't find any evidence for online that I just included anyway. That I just claimed. Where it was like, she didn't give any...
So I was looking into Israel because, they're evil. And I was researching the skin bank that they have because Israel has a population of like 9.5 million people, but they have the world's largest skin bank. And I was looking into their data and what they say the skin bank is. And it's like, we almost always get permission to take skin. And it's like, what do you mean almost always? How often are you just, and because of something about the religion there, a lot of them aren't organ donors. So it's like, where are you getting the most skin? They've got this surplus of skin. Where are they getting it?
Can't all be foreskins.
It can't all be foreskins. You can't patch a guy together with 8,000 foreskins. It just won't work. It'd be disgusting. I don't know. It might work. Aren't there some stem cells in that thing? So I started thinking about that and the fact that they're clearly harvesting the bodies of Palestinians and using their organs and their skin for nefarious means. And I wanted to delve deeper into sort of biotechnology and Israeli warfare. And I found this like huge scattering of information online about how Israel apparently has been, and the title of my conspiracy is Beasts of Zion, Zoological Conspiracies.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems
And your
that
evidence are these photos where you typed inputs like "show me a hawk with lasers,"
Yes.
and
absolutely, I have. So these are based on eyewitness testimonies and press releasings. I'll have you know, these are AI renditions. Of course, I don't have the hard data myself. I didn't go behind enemy lines, but there are many reports of skyborne surveillance from starting in 2011 when a Griffin vulture was captured by a hunter in Saudi Arabia. It was wearing GPS trackers and camera technology. There was a European bee eater, which is another kind of bird found in Turkey. Same thing. It had audio receiving equipment, and its beak had been replaced with audio receiving equipment. There was an eagle shot down in Lebanon that was declared by Lebanon to be an Israeli spy. It was part of, they said it was some research project, but once again, it had advanced GPS technology and audio and video receiving equipment on board. Are you you're still showing the eagle? So go to the
go to the other ChatGPT Animal Fusion.
Yeah,
put it.
the Jew dolphin. So dolphins. The dolphins are also being employed by the Israelis. Hamas claimed that it had captured a dolphin spy off the coast of Gaza that was outfitted with cameras and other weaponry all the way back in 2015. And there's also another alleged dolphin that was deployed to intercept Hamas naval commandos in 2022. And Iran state media labeled a robotic dolphin designed by Israel that they had discovered. The IDF offered no official comment, and neither confirmed nor denied type things. There's also, show them the shark. The shark's very interesting. So during
it's the same as the dolphin.
It's similar.
You were so impressed by Brad's work cited, yet you shit all over Kyle's.
I don't know.
I got an image of the act. Hey, look, I got the dolphin right here. Look at the Star of David on its fin. Look at those swimmers. Those are Palestinians. All right. It's stalking the waters. All right. So in 2010, several shark attacks occurred in the popular Egyptian resort of Sharm el Sheikh, and the government blamed it on sharks that were sent by Israel. One shark was found, once again, fitted with a GPS tracking device and other electronic surveillance equipment. The Israeli government called the theory absurd. He's seen Jaws one too many times, one official remarked. Sharknado? No. Shark Mossad. All right? Show him the dogs. Show him the robo-dogs. Okay? That's going to convince them because I've got some doubters. Okay? We got some doubters out there.
Maybe is this the one where you were trying to... You had to go 6-pointed star.
Yeah, they don't want you to put a Star of David on there. I really had to trick ChatGPT to get the ones I got. So now we all know that the Israelis have been raping Gazans with specially trained commando dogs. These are dogs that are bred to have large penises and to be extremely horny. It's been reported many times that they are, in fact, raping Palestinians with dogs. But the IDF also apparently has been using dog commandos, once again, equipped with all sorts of electronic devices. Some say with the skin of the dead Palestinians that they had raped. I don't know how that would help them or aid them, but I'm reading it right here off this thing I wrote.
It seems like Brad knows something about the robot dogs or the molesting dogs.
Well, the thing is that apparently Israelis had been doing this for a long time, using dogs to rape people. Like, this was happening back in the 1970s in Chile underneath Augusto Pinochet. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that right here in my notes.
Crazy shit.
No, you fucking don't. Yeah.
Show him the lizard, Zach. So, February 18th, senior Iranian military advisor accused Israel and the West of using lizards and chameleons to detect uranium. He claimed that their skin is absorbing atomic waves and revealing the locations of nuclear facilities. The international scientific community widely quiet on the issue. Okay, almost suspiciously too quiet. Cold-blooded to Cold War. Nuclear lizards. That's the future. And of course, and this is that is a spy cow. I found no evidence of spy cows, but I thought it'd look cool. So,
you were on a roll with the images, so you just let it ride.
They really should have put the Star of David on the cow if it was to be a spy. It's really giveaway.
Well,
hey, it's kosher. It's kosher.
Exactly. The idea was that the Palestinians thought they had stolen an Israeli cow and they had made it one of their own, when in fact it was a spy cow. Now show them the pig, because that's based on evidence.
How many do you have?
Well, look, the Israelis employ a suite of cyborg animals for a number of nefarious purposes.
Kyle, these are all just pictures of robot animals with a Star of David on it.
And you can see that it's stomping through a vineyard in the settlement region of Palestine. They use these pigs. This is factual. Okay. It's documented.
I believe you.
In 2014 to 2016, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas accused Israelis of releasing wild boars to, quote, terrorize farmers and destroy crops. A 10-year-old the same year was reportedly attacked by one of these boars in the West Bank, reinforcing local suspicions of international release by settlers. That sentence doesn't make any sense. ChatGPT is not always the best. December 2022. A village elder from Yanun, which is a place we all know, claimed that Israeli cows were being recruited and trained as
right
spies.
There in El Noon. Okay.
Yeah, right there, downtown El Noon, right by the Quick Stop. It used to be a nice neighborhood. Now they got spy boars.
Right. So the boars were also
robotically enhanced, yes, and perhaps demonically imbued.
You can't disprove it.
See in the eye.
Yeah,
I did have, yes, the glowing red eye, reminiscent of evil, and also the Star of David there, similar imagery. I tried to get the boar to be destroying an olive grove, but apparently that's culturally significant, so they wouldn't let me do that.
An olive grove? Is it like an Italian AI?
No,
they won't let you do that.
I think they do olives there, and it's literally a thing that happens. These Palestinians have been raising olives there for like 1,000 years, and then they come in and they chainsaw their olive trees down while the old couple cries. You haven't seen those videos?
I scroll past those things pretty quick.
Oh, well, I'm a big fan. I like to see what's going on. And if you paid more attention, you know about the robo boars.
I guess you're right, because you've told me about now there's mice.
Well, yes. The Israelis have also been accused by the Yemenis of
the same picture over and over and over.
It's consistent.
It's consistent. The Yemenis have accused the Israelis of employing electronically imbued rodents to damage crop shipments with their feces and also to spy upon them.
So when you say electronically imbued, like do you know?
Well, you can see right here. There's an exoskeleton.
Well,
like what are they putting on it?
I mean, like not according to ChatGPT being asked to make the most robotic mouse possible.
Yes.
But I'm curious what they claim the actual
cameras, weaponry, and GPS equipment. And I know on the dogs they put these microphones on the dog so they can talk to the dog and give it orders while they watch it carry them out on camera remotely. So yeah, the Israelis, as always, extra evil. I also I did a second one, but I'll do that later. I just got a quick overview of the Ken McElroy situation. He was the town bully who was shot by 40 people, but there are no witnesses. It's delicious.
What is Goblin? What's your history with drugs and weed? Did you start very young? Did you pick it up in late high school, college?
My first time getting high, I was 15. Well, all right. I guess my entire timeline. The first time I ever got intoxicated on anything, freshman year of high school, I got hammered after that homecoming that year, which was, I feel like, just kind of tradition at that point.
Normal.
You go to the school dance, we went to this girl's house after, and her parents weren't home, and their basement was just lined with the nicest bar I'd ever seen, and we cost them a lot of money that night. And pretty shortly after that, I started smoking weed, just kind of casually with my friends. I think I didn't really become an actual drug addicted degenerate until towards the end of my sophomore year of high school. I was 16 at that point, and I started taking Xanax and drinking cold meds because it was way cheaper than smoking weed.
Shit, that's early. 16, you were Xanax.
Robo tripping at 16?
It escalated pretty quick. Yeah, I went from 15, just a little stoner kid, and now 16, I'm smoking whatever basically.
How were your
get my hands on. Oh, dude. So
Really good, right?
I don't know where this is going yet. Really?
So I got sent to an alternative school in my junior year because my GPA, I went to like a very nice school district. Like my parents really tried for me, dude. They wanted to give me a shot. And I blew it. I was in a nice school district, and I learned that the way my school district padded their graduation rates, they're like one of the top districts in Illinois. The way that they padded the graduation rates was all the little degens like me with low GPAs, they'd ship off to this alternative school that gave no homework. So they come to me during the end of my first semester of my junior year of high school, and my GPA at this point is 0.8. Like I'm worthless in the classroom.
Room for improvement.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm worthless in the classroom. And when I was a kid, I was like a really good student, dude. I remember being in elementary school. I was like in the advanced classes, making my parents proud. And then I ended with a 0.8. Yeah, 0.8.
So you just showed up and then just like you obstinately didn't do tasks where they're like, fill out this worksheet, and you're like, nah, fuck you.
I mean, by that point, I was either high or asleep in like every class. Like the only time they'd get me right is first period, because first period, I just didn't have the time to really get high enough yet. You know, there was a girl named Megan who she used to steal all her parents' Xanax, and she'd bring the whole bottle every other week and she'd sell it to me. And then her friend named Peyton had a grandma who had a script for that too. And I meet him in the library every couple weeks. I'd buy the whole bottle from him. And then by second period, I'm asleep. So, you know, I didn't do much homework. And that's what really killed me. Cause like the moment I walked out of the door, you weren't getting a single thing out of me school wise. Like I'm not doing shit. And you know, once I started sleeping through my classes, I couldn't even do the tests. You know, for a while, I was able to kind of like straddle and be like, well, I don't do any homework, but like I'll get a B or a C on the test, you know? So I'll make it past the class. I'll get a C or maybe a D. But once I started popping pills and really the psychedelics are what drove me to like, fuck this school shit. I used to take a ton of acid, and I was really like invested in the idea of like, dude, I'm just going to get a studio apartment, work at McDonald's, and take acid every day. Like that was my life, my dream.
This is crazy because you look like a professional Pokemon player. Like,
dude,
and
I've got a whole shelf of Pokemon cards right there, dude. All my Pokemon cards.
I'm on point then.
Dude, somehow I had the same ambitions with no drugs as a kid. And my GPA wasn't too far either.
You mentioned the cough medicine.
What, you're like, yeah, my GPA was similar, but it was out of sheer laziness and obstinance.
He said,
on Xanax.
once I get out of school, you're not getting anything out of me. And I'm like, preach it, brother.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't clocked in, and that's it.
So you were every single morning drinking the syrup or taking the pill every
at
single
least
morning.
Something. When I was younger, I was like, I don't think I was like a drug addict in the sense of like I had one specific drug that I really enjoyed, but I was addicted to just being high. Like I don't know what it was when I was younger, because like I had a nice upbringing, dude. My parents were great, you know. They took me to Burger King and let me skip school sometimes, you know. That shit was fun. So like I had a fine upbringing, but like I just didn't like enjoy being sober. Once I discovered getting high, I was like, dude, this is the greatest thing ever. And I think slowly like the consequences of that started to build up, and like you don't notice that happening when you're getting high every day. And then eventually when the consequences really built up, I dropped out of high school my senior year. My mom threw me out of her house because I was just not behaving, and I had to move in with my dad. My parents are divorced, and he lived in like a shithole town, like very different. My mom like moved me into this small little condo in a very nice area to put me in that good school district. My dad was in the trenches. So, you know, I show up to school the first day at my new high school for my senior year, and I'm just like, yo, this is not my environment. Like, you know, I don't think I need to go much into detail why. You can look at me, you know, be like, yeah, he needs to be in a nice school, you know? Sure. So I show up for a couple days. I go home and I tell my dad, I'm like, yo, Dad, I'm dropping out, dude. I'm going to work at Jewel Osco. You know, I'm going to stock shelves at the grocery store, Dad. And he was like, great, sounds good. You know, let's drop you out of school. And that was the first time.
No pushback at all.
Oh no, dude. I mean, at that point in my senior year,
he's like, oh damn, we could drive to work together.
So I kind of see it.
As long as they don't give you any of my hours.
In my head, tell me if I'm right. Your dad is like, well, if we're not going anywhere, we might as well get there now. Right?
Yeah.
Why go to high school all year
Yeah, no need to waste the time. He had better things to do. So pull me out of school, then he doesn't have to take me there anymore, and that saves him time. So win-win for us. Yeah, I dropped out of school. By the time I dropped out, I'd already been to rehab once. So like my parents had kind of tried to like straighten me out. I never hit it. Like my mom would ask me like, "Are you high right now?" And I'd be like, "Yeah," and she'd be like, "What'd you take?" I'd be like, "A lot," like just whatever. I was always very honest about it. I never tried to hide it. But then I dropped out of high school, and that's when like I really started being a degen drug addict. Like I really didn't do shit all day, but like sit in my room and get high. And like I didn't have a car because I crashed it. I lost my job pretty quick at Jewel. I got arrested for felony retail theft. I stole a bunch of games from Walmart to go sell at GameStop for weed money.
Were you high when you crashed your car?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh my God. I was hammered, dude. I was like, so I've totaled 3 cars in my life. And I'm only 26. I'm a young guy. So like, that's a pretty fast rate of totaling cars. Sure. Technically I've totaled 5, but 2 were not my fault. 0 fault accidents after I got sober.
So 3 total cars was the best possible scenario you could present.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah. 3 total cars was like me like downplaying, like, hey, those are just my bad ones, my first one, I was really drunk. I think me and my friends used to do dumbass shit. Like we would steal NyQuil from Walgreens and then pour it into beer because like it would get us more fucked up. So like we drink half the beer and then pour a bunch of NyQuil in it and then slam that. And then like it'd make us, if you fought going to sleep, you'd get really fucked up. So I did a bunch of that.
That's crazy because I was around a lot of people doing drugs and also getting fucked up in my mid-20s, early 20s especially. And the thought of a friend of mine drinking half his Bud Light and being like, dude, trust me, with NyQuil, I would be like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, my whole friend group would have been like, something's wrong, something's up. We all had 14 beers, but this is a problem.
Did you ever huff gasoline? Because that's the most degen thing I've ever witnessed.
That is where I drew the line. Huffing stuff is where I drew the line. I had a bunch of friends who used to huff. They used to inhale like fresh whipped cream canisters behind the grocery store to like get that
little. That's not that bad though. That's
rush.
Like nitrous oxide. That
was a thing in my brain. I was like, no, that makes me a tweaker. Like, I can drink NyQuil beer every day, but like the moment if I start huffing stuff, I'm a tweaker. I can't.
It wasn't even codeine. It was just NyQuil.
Yeah, dude. We didn't have money for codeine. That shit's expensive, dude.
Yeah, codeine
isn't that horrible for you?
Absolutely.
Well, it's RoboTrip. When you mentioned the cough medicine the first time, I was like,
I thought NyQuil put a bunch of stuff in there where it's like, we'll solve this problem by killing them. If they use it.
Isn't that horrible for you? Like, I think I'm catching on to the notion that fitness isn't your top priority.
No,
probably not.
No,
but acetaminophen in that. I think does NyQuil have that?
It does. It has that. It has this thing called, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of all these. Guaifenicin, I think. That's the one that's supposed to make you puke. So a lot of the manufacturers put that in to like try to stave off kids like me. But dude, you fight the sleep and you fight the nausea. And if you win the battle, you're going to have a sick ass time. So, that's what we do like every other day.
You went hard in the paint. And you're 26 now?
I'm 26 now. I got sober. God, I don't count the days anymore, but I got like California sober, so that's a loose term. I did that like 3 years ago. It's been now. It was it was at the end of 2021. I stopped doing blow and ketamine and Xanax and all that. But yeah, I kind of went through the whole ringer. I smoked crack one time when I was 17.
Was it fun?
No, fuck no. It's actually not fun. It's infuriating, actually, is what it is. Like I got really like, imagine the worst rage you've ever felt in your life. And it lasts for about 2 minutes. And then you're just like, oh, dude, like, what was I pissed about? Me and my friends.
It did to you?
Yeah, but I will
What was it you were enraged over? Was it just any random?
Bro, I punched
some
my
guy
mom.
chewing with his mouth open?
We were in my kitchen, me and 2 other friends, and I had a buddy who at the time was selling blow. And we had been doing a ton of coke, and like we were very tired of it. Coke's a very like repetitive drug. It's something that like, obviously when you're out for a night drinking with your friends, it's the greatest invention ever. Like it's amazing. But coke is a drug that like, you can get tired of pretty quick if you're not really hooked on it. And me and my friends were tired of it. And we go over to my house after school one day, and my buddy has this big bag of blow on him, and he's like, dude, what if we made crack? Like, kind of jokingly, he's like, dude, what if we fucking made crack? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess like we have cocaine, like technically we could. We start Googling shit, and we end up on Arrowhead. And there's this thread on Arrowhead, which Arrowhead's like the biggest drug for. I love that website. Shout out to Arrowhead. And there's this thread, and then we find a YouTube video from a guy. This is like a decade ago. Now I don't think you could ever post this. There's a YouTube video, not of a guy like actually cooking it, but like text on the screen, like those old school, you know, with the stock music and like when you look up an old game, it was one of
He's
those.
He's got star
like,
wipes teaching you how to make crack on the stove. Yeah,
literally, it was with the Times, the Comic Sans font or whatever it was, just one of those old style videos. It was like a step one. You know, little known fact here, you can do it with just a spoon. You don't need like a whole pot. You don't need like any, you know, the way you mentally envision cooking crack is like, that's if you're the plug. You know, if you're just a guy like me who just wants to try it with your friends, you just need a spoon and some baking soda and a lighter. And like, that's pretty much it. And water.
And then you just put the cocaine in the spoon with that stuff and you light it?
So there's, I don't remember the exact like ratios of what you put in, but at one point the Coke enters the spoon with the baking soda and the water, and you kind of mix it all together while you hold the lighter below it, just very briefly. And you mix it until it gets cloudy. It honestly kind of looks like you nutted in the spoon. Like once it looks like you've nutted in the spoon, it's ready to go in the freezer. So after that, you pour it on a little tin foil, throw it in the freezer. We let it sit. And this is not like a good, like, this is not like, man, I made some pure ass crack. This shit was horrible. Like it was for sure, from what I've learned talking to other crack smokers, it wasn't good.
Yeah, well, they're notoriously not picky though. Crack smokers.
That's right. Yeah,
they'll fire it up.
100%.
Dude, I'm watching people cook crack right now on YouTube. There's so many videos of people cooking crack.
Is there really still?
It's like the best way to cook crack.
How many minutes was it? Because I imagine this is like a high time preference thing. Like when you put it on the tinfoil sheet in the freezer, was it like, we got to find something to do for 20 minutes? And then
I remember correctly, it was around 30 minutes. It was about half an hour. You let it sit and then you pull it out. It was more of an eyeball thing. I remember we checked on it a few times just to make sure it was solid, because that was, from what I remember, just the prerequisite. Like if there's any motion in it when you move the foil, leave it in there. You know?
Did it get you any more fucked up than if you had just done the equivalent amount of Coke?
It was, honestly, it was like as if I had like, the amount of Coke that I would chop up for, let's say, 6 hours, it was as if I had just railed that whole pile and like it all hit me in 2 minutes and left. Like it was not a different high than Coke in any way, really. It was just much more like concentrated almost, you know?
Okay.
But
Coke is my
I didn't
least
get
favorite drug. Coke sucks.
Oh, dude, you're lucky.
Hate it.
Hate it. Lucky, dude.
It's all that post-nasal drip. I just get a little more anxious than my baseline for like 3 minutes.
Kyle, you're muted. That's funny.
Number one. Number two. Pizza pie in my eye. Oh my. Just like